NFL free agent Odell Beckham Jr. sues Nike for swindling him out of $20 million by suppressing sales of his merchandise to avoid triggering bonuses and extensions. So let's get right into this because, this is a lot of money for anyone, right? So, NFL free agent Odell Beckham Jr. is suing Nike, claiming the sports apparel giant deliberately suppressed sales of his sneakers, which would have triggered bonuses and contract extensions worth $20 million. The lawsuit was filed Monday in Oregon, where Nike was originally founded as Blue Ribbon Sports in 1964. And according to TMZ, which has obtained the filing, the 30-year-old Beckham claims Nike altered his contract when it exercised the company's right to match Adidas' offer to the NFL receiver in 2017. The changes made it nearly impossible for Beckham to trigger lucrative incentives, which included contract extensions, according to the lawsuit. Let's see. So emails to Beckham's attorney and Nike spokespeople were not immediately returned. Blah, 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 blah. So Beckham and Nike were at odds beginning in March when he was due a $2.6 million payment, $2 million of which was withheld, according to the free agent. Which, if that's the case, that is pretty effed up. Nike claimed the money was withheld because he altered Nike footwear and gloves before playing in the items in violation of his contract. Beckham, however, has denied committing any contract violations, saying that he was forced to alter his cleats because the ones provided by Nike did not match his team's colors at the time. Now Beckham is suing for $20 million. Being a Nike athlete and brand icon was a dream I've had since being a young boy. I wanted to be the next Michael Jordan, Bo Jackson, LeBron James, or Kobe Bryant in the Nike family, read Beckham's statement. When Nike exercised its right of first refusal to match the Adidas offer and not only kept me as a Nike athlete, but also made me one of their brand icons, my dream had been fulfilled. Unfortunately, Nike did not honor its commitments. Throughout our partnership, I have kept my promise and fulfilled my obligations to the brand. I am extremely disappointed that I've had to take these measures to ensure Nike fulfills their obligations and promises. I look forward to resolving this issue and hope we can start a real conversation about protecting athletes and their rights. This happens too often in the sports industry and it's time for change. Beckham is still recovering from a knee surgery after tearing his left ACL in February's Super Bowl as a member of the LA Rams. The Rams, the Dallas Cowboys, and Buffalo Bills are just a few of the NFL contenders rumored to be interested in the Super Bowl champion. Let's see. No comments on this. That's pretty interesting. But here's the thing, right? If what he said is true, and that they are basically kind of like screwing him over, he needs to go after them and get this money, right? And then he needs to use this money to create his own shoe company, right? Because the problem with him doing this and having to rely on a big corporation to pay him his money is that you could probably make more money long term by selling your own shoes to your own fans. Like a good example of this is The Rock with basically his specific energy drinks and tequila and even the partnership he did with Under Armour with shoes or clothing or whatever, right? You have to either do a partnership, not a sponsorship, right? There's nothing wrong with you basically being a partner with someone who ends up manufacturing on the stuff and then sticks your label or whatever your design. Nothing wrong with that. The problem with sponsorships is that, okay, you get a thick, fat paycheck, but what else after that, right? You don't really get any sort of ownership, which is horrible, right? Because if you were to have made, I don't know, $1 to $2 million per year by selling your own shoes that you are part owner, co owner, or whatever with a shoe company or a manufacturer, and then you basically sell that like for like 20 times, 30 times, 40 times your annual revenue after a couple of years, long term, you're going to be coming out ahead and you could actually end up doing that. You could actually sell for multiple. But when you just are a influencer basically, when you're just basically a pro athlete doing sponsorships, yeah, you're getting paid a lot of money, but long term, at what cost? Because there's just no ownership. And this is the thing that bothers me with so many of these like pro athletes. They don't focus on ownership. They just focus on getting the money without really anything else, which is just a really bad way to go about it. Like if he was serious about his brand, if he was serious about making long-term impact, money, etc., he would focus more on selling his own shoes or his own merchandise, his own whatever, right? Now, if I was him, I'd probably actually lean more towards selling a consumable because people will keep on rebuying that, and his audience is so massive. You don't necessarily need like a high cost consumable. It could be like a $10 or $20 protein shake or something, right? So all the people that follow him, or a good portion of the people following him, would be willing to buy that every single month. Or maybe supplements that he takes, whatever supplements, right? They could just buy that from him and have recurring revenue over and over and over and over again. Like a good example of this is like the company Gorilla Mind that sponsors like athletes or influencers or whatever, people with a following. Some of these people are able to generate $50 to $100,000 a month in recurring revenue, okay? And they're basically just basically affiliate marketers for Gorilla Mind. But if Odell Beckham Jr. basically had his own thing or had like a special partnership, the amount of money that he could be potentially making could be in the hundreds of thousands of dollars every single month for years. Like years upon years upon years, and also have some sort of ownership so that he could sell for like a multiple. Like, I don't get why people who are able to like build up such a massive following don't think like that. Like, he could be retiring as like a billionaire if he plays his cards right, but he has to play his cards right. That's the thing.